right, it played out across footy shows on telly last night. Daly Cherry-Evans says he won't be at Manly beyond this season. He told Channel 9's 100% Footy he wanted to give himself and the club clean air to make decisions about their future. Have a listen.
But the main reason for doing it is I felt like that as my career comes to an end, I wanted to take my time, whether that's retiring or playing on. And by cutting ties with Manly this year, then I felt like that was the best chance for me to have freedom throughout the year to take my time to choose. And then from there, they were able to move on and find the next halfback for Manly.
It all seemed to escalate quite quickly last night, didn't it?
It did, Tone. Look, it's a huge yarn. It's divided opinions around the game. It'll be fascinating to see what sort of a reception Daly gets. He's an absolute club icon, played more games than anybody else for Manly.
Yep.
But he's got to run out in the Manly jumper on Sunday against the Eels at 4 Pines.
Do you reckon he'll get booed, Hopes?
Well, he has been previously for a similar circumstance where he signed with the Gold Coast Titans and then backflipped.
But he's done so much for the club. He's playing great footy at the moment. They're certainly in the frame for a premiership or top 4. Surely he's not getting booed.
Yeah, but if you're Manly fans, there's a little bit of something that sticks in your craw about the way that he's not sticking around, but he is going to go somewhere else. So,
and how can you have clean air for the rest of the year knowing that he's leaving the club? Doesn't that divide the club?
He's just poured petrol on a bonfire by doing it, because absolutely, look, I'm sure amongst the players, as much as they're all trying to present a united front and say that there's no rumblings behind the scenes or any issues, there has to be more to this story. I think Dylan Brown's deal a couple of weeks ago, Tone, might have turned his head, because Daly is in the top 3 halfbacks in the NRL at the moment, no question. Nathan Cleary, Jerome Hughes, Daly. And I think the amount of money Dylan got paid has turned his head, and he's thought, I can go on the open market and I can get over $1 million.
Well, where do you honestly really believe it's at? You know, we were hearing that he wasn't sure whether he was going to play on at all next year, and you know, so that's the decision he still hasn't made. If he's made the decision to leave Manly, do you think he has made a decision about playing on, A, and B, where he would play on?
Well, to answer question A, he's saying at this point in time, no, he hasn't made that call.
No, he wants
coin.
But I'm thinking, yeah, absolutely. Look, he's super fit, even though he's 36, 37 at the beginning of next year. He looks like a 30-year-old. Like, he looks after himself.
And he plays like that as well.
He's meticulous in his preparation. I think he plays on, and there's a couple of schools of thought. One is all roads lead to the Sydney Roosters. The other is he's already done a deal with the Dolphins. And then you got Augustus Phil Gould, who can be the best closer in the business when it comes to doing a deal.
Does this affect, as you just said, the top 4, even for the premiership? Does this affect their chances?
Well, you've been part of elite sides, Robbie. Like, it'd have to have divided the group, the fact that all of a sudden...
early in the season.
And I think it's the fact that he's just put a line through it and said, look, I'm definitely leaving Manly, but actually I might play on, and I'm going to put myself on the open market, and I'm not going over to the Super League. I'm not going overseas. I could well stay in the NRL.
Do you think this next decision is all about as much money as possible, or as much money as possible plus a successful team and some wins to finish?
Surely you'd want to win, don't you, Kath? Every professional athlete I've ever met, that's what drives them. Money does talk all languages.
Yeah, but the things you remember is what you won when it comes at the end of your career.
Well, if that's the case, I'm thinking that it's the Roosters and it's the Bulldogs who are probably in a shootout. Your mob will have a throw at the stumps as well, Tony.
George,
the Dragons.
Why wouldn't you go there?
He's polycodal.
It felt, though, like we were in the room where it happens. No sooner was the announcement revealed than we heard about the counter-offer on NRL 360.
Breaking news, Mestroff and Penn have just contacted Fox League and said they're going to counter this with a 2-year offer, so they don't believe this is over.
And then there's, apparently, according to some reports out there, a $1.5 million 2-year offer now on the table. Would you accept that if that is the case at the Manly Seagulls?
Look, and respectfully, no, because, as I said, I've been sleeping on this decision since December. So I understand that it's not going to make everyone happy, and there's going to be a lot of Manly fans that are really upset with this.
He's going to get booed.
I love it. It was all happening live on TV.
It was. Yeah,
look, I actually
guys, I haven't got an offer from Fox Sports yet. I'm pretty sure.
Tony has.
I was waiting for the contract extension as well.
Well, I just got one of these your last show. is Optus Sport.
But in all seriousness, how good was that happening at the
brilliant.
time? I mean, that sort of access, it was just like your popcorn hour. This cannot be unfolding as I'm watching it.
So good.
So brilliantly handled.
What's
Such
it worth?
great television.
Daly on the open market, clubs will pay over $1 million for him, no question. If you've got the latitude in your salary cap, then you'd pay more, which the Dolphins may be able to.
He deserves a big contract on the way out, doesn't he? He deserves.
I would have loved to see him remain a one-club player. He's never played for anyone other than Manly. He's such an icon at that club and on the northern beaches.
And Hoops, 100%. And Hoops, you remember back when he first signed that 10-year deal, it didn't go fantastically well at the start of it, did it? And everyone said, you know, why would you give 10 years? But he rode that, and he's
playing great.
No, you're spot on, Rob. And not only that, it also divided the group at the time too, if you remember rightly. A lot of players had to leave and left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths.